Well, I mean, to put it bluntly, democracy would not exist without journalism and the free flow of information. People cannot function in a democracy without the information they need to make decisions. So it plays a pivotal role in our society, and I'm very worried about the crisis in local journalism today. I mean, something like 2,000 newspapers have folded in the last decade, and I think it's a very, very serious situation, absolutely.
What do you think?
Well, this happened when I was midway through college at Boston University. And I had dropped out to write a novel. I was an English major. And the novel didn't go so well. And so I got back into school, and I thought, well, maybe I could write for a newspaper because it would give me practice writing. And also I was really interested in politics. And so I took one journalism class. And the professor thought that journalism was something you best learned by doing. So we had an assignment to volunteer at a local newspaper and write a story and get it published. That was the assignment. Well, I think, especially these days, you have to really be good at a lot of different things. And I like I say, I originally aspired to be a novelist, so I really do like taking a piece of dense investigative reporting and using narrative writing techniques to bring it alive and try to make sure people actually read it. But I also I have found that I'm a good investigator, which I didn't know before I got into this, but I found that I really kind of enjoy putting the pieces of the puzzle together and following a lead and just digging and dig. I found I'm a pretty good digger, and that can be a little addictive, and so I enjoy that as well.
Absolutely.
Well, what I would suggest is, given the kind of rough environment that exists for a lot of student newspapers now, and of course I'm thinking about what happened at Northwestern and what happened with the Harvard Crimson, I think it might be a good exercise to just sit down and have a conversation about what are your values, what are your principles. And that way, when trouble erupts or you get criticized, you can ask yourselves, well, did we abide by our principles? And did we abide by the guidelines and the goals that we set for ourselves? And if you have, it's a lot easier to weather the criticism because you're going to get criticized, particularly these days. And some of the criticism is going to be justified, and some of it's not. And you need to be able to tell the difference. Well, I'd like to get some of the folks in the business school to try to help us solve this problem and to come up with a viable model. You know, there's a lot of experimentation going on today, and I think that's great. There's a lot of experimentation going on with a nonprofit model, and a lot of organizations have had a lot of success with that. And I'm thinking not just of the big international outlets like ProPublica, but also like the Texas Tribune, for instance. I think is very, very interesting with the economic model that they've developed. And I think what I think is so interesting about it is it ought to be replicable to other areas.